Bandito Radio 112 FM, a streaming radio station for all toy enthusiasts, collectors, photographers, and customizers. Built to match your mood and passion. Music from hip-hop to country and all the rock in between with host Howlin' Jim Jackson. For a dose of the macabre, there's Myra's Morgue of Midnight Madness. Plus our newest collector podcast, Purple Gang Gang Full Frontal Purple. And Action Figure Frequencies. With your hosts, SKN's own Chet Maddox and Alexander Storm. Bandito Radio 112 FM. Available to stream now on Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
Well, everybody, we are live once again. It is Friday night, 7 p.m. Pacific time, right here on SK and the Shadow Nose Network. We appreciate you all tuning in this evening. And again, another jam-packed episode for you all. Joefest 2025 has officially kicked off from Atlanta, Georgia. And we have two special guests that are there live that we'll be bringing in shortly. Marcelo from URU Toys, who will talk about some cool stuff upcoming, including the Nightwolf, which is 112 scale, beautiful, super innovative action vehicle. Plus, we've got Deadly Dioramas that's going to talk us a little bit about how the landscape's changing in the toy industry, specifically around dioramas, people making them, but what does that do to the toy industry in general? Plus, we've got plenty of other things to talk about, and currently some of the things that are happening at Joefest, what to look for, what to expect, and the Punisher and Spider-Man together. Stay tuned for SKN News, and stay tuned. This is Pixels, Plastic, and Ink. Well, as always, we appreciate you all hanging out with us every Friday night right here. Hit the subscribe, like, comment. Come on, man. We appreciate all of your support. And if this is the first time or the 100th time you are here, just a bit of a rundown. We are the Pop Culture Podcast. We talk about, well, pixels, movies, TV, rumors, cinema, plastic, toys and collectibles, and then obviously ink. All things comic books. Yes, they do exist. This is SKN. Without further ado, Mr. Storm, how are you this evening on this fine Friday?
Fired up. Disappointed that we can't be at Joefest, but we got a lot of our crew and alliance members out there, so it's nice to do. Shout out to our Purple Gang guys. Have fun out there. Don't have too much fun, but have fun.
Dr. Brantley, how are you, sir?
Good. Looking forward to this conversation.
I love it. Dr. Brantley wearing Support Independent Toy Makers. That is from Holy Grail Toys. Chet's got it on as well. That was a debut shirt we started promoting at the latest Robo Toy Fest a couple of weeks ago here in Los Angeles. Chet Maddox, how are you, sir?
Well, like everything, I am doing great. I realize that Friday just keeps getting sexier and sexier every time we show up, and we're bringing on two more pure sex appeal people that just, I don't know, man. Like, eventually we're going to get banned on YouTube or something just because of like, they're going to be like, look, you got to be like 18 and plus. But yeah, man, I'm excited. This is a fun conversation. I love Joefest. I was there last year. I am bummed out I'm not there this year. But Deadly, he did tell me that if I showed up, he was gonna make me part of his dioramas. So I didn't want to. I don't know what the hell that meant. But should we bring him on?
Absolutely.
Let's bring on our special guests of the evening, live from Joefest here in Atlanta, Georgia. First, we've got Marcelo from URU Toys.
Marcelo, welcome. How you doing, sir?
Hi, how are you, Chet? I am
good.
Fine. Yeah, little tired because lot of stuff here in Joefest, but happy with all the situation. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, we're happy to have you here, man.
Thanks for hanging out. And then, Deadly Dioramas is here live from Joefest. How are you, sir?
Howdy. I'm doing fantastic. Same, tired. Been a busy day, but man, so much good stuff to see. I wish I was still there without my legs working, though, like subconsciously, I guess, or something.
Yeah.
Well, we love it. We love that you're all here, 10 p.m. Eastern time to be with us here live on the 7 p.m. Pacific time. Oddfrog in the chat. First, LOL, what's up, Frog Entertainment? We got Collecta in the chat. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, Collecta.
All right. Well, without further ado, first off, before we kind of jump into what's going on in both of your guys' worlds, you want to just give us maybe an overview of how things have gone thus far? I know it's early in the weekend for Joefest, but from your perspective, other than being crazy busy, I'm sure lots of booth and vendors, any kind of standout things that you want to share with this group thus far?
Marcelo, you start off, buddy.
Yeah, it's I think the Joefest this year is bigger than last year. I think there are more booths, more people. You have to see the line when no, the entire hall was the line. So you realize that there are a lot of people here, a lot of people interested in independent toy companies, because you figure out that what Hasbro is not bringing to people like us realize that, and they start to making their own lines. We have guys like Delta 17 making some kind of classic covering stuff. They are awesome, and you wonder why Hasbro is no longer making that stuff. And I think that people who are here at Joefest have the same feeling about independent toy companies making filling the holes that big companies don't want to be anymore involved. And I think that's a good news for, it's like made from collectors to collectors, and that's something we have to I know I am happy for that situation, because give us the opportunity to create different stuff for people that love the same stuff that we love and share the collective souls. It's like a community. It's amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, once again, these independent companies are stealing the show. I mean, I beelined it to, a lot of the newer ones. I mean, Marauder had some great stuff out. I haven't had the opportunity to look at everything that's out there as of yet, but I mean, the things that I did see as of today, I stopped by Delta 17, I stopped by Marauders, of course. There was some other creators there. Patriot Force was up there. There was Fresh Monkey, Animal Kingdom. I mean, those so many things. I mean, just the energy right now, it just is focused on those classic figures. And I mean, that's what everybody has been hungry for since I've seen here, since I've been here so far. And I'm really excited to kind of get out there tomorrow and see what else is out there. It rehashed a lot of memories that I personally forgot from childhood, seeing some of the stuff that was on display today. And it was awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, since we're saying the rehash of anything, anybody go to see the Chris from Grindhouse Toys' booth? Because I saw it online and it looked pretty good. How does it look in person? Because it looks even better than it did at Toy Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, he's I mean, that line looks absolutely amazing. It's the classic O-ring, but I mean, his paint jobs that he does, I mean, everything he does that he's put his initials on has looked fantastic. So you're getting the same thing. It's a brand new property. No one's done anything kind of like this before, and it mixes the best of all those elements. I personally grew up on war movies from my father and horror movies from my mother. So combining that together in an O-ring, but with modern articulation, I mean, that's awesome. That's the kind of stuff, instead of the rinse and repeat, that people want to see, and it looks so good.
Absolutely.
That's my personal opinion. And of course, he's a stand-up dude, so
Absolutely.
What can I say?
Yeah. Well, since we're talking about rinse and repeat, what's not actually doing that is the line over there from URU Toys. So Marcelo, what kind of treats did you bring out that everybody can actually walk by the booth and see? What did you bring with you other than the awesomeness of the Nightwolf?
Well, actually, we have the Nightwolf in both scales. We have the 118 one and the 112. Okay. So we have two Nightwolf. We also have our first figure that is a prototype. It is called Ace. That is going to be part of our coming new comic, Semper Fi. We've been talking around about that. We also have a couple of mechs that they are from a good friend of mine, is Render Boy 3D, that he made some tribute mechs from the Joefest. They are like a combination of a band and a football player, they are amazing. We only have 4 of them for sale exclusive here at the Joefest. And a lot of people were asking if we can do those makes in 118 scale. And that's something that surprised me, because it's everybody wants 118 stuff. And I don't know, man, something is happening.
Do we have any images up? I don't know if we had anything prompted, or the website, because I don't know for the audience that they've actually put their eyes on Marcelo's figures. I mean, not figures, but vehicles. I don't know if we could get that up, but I think it'd be cool to kind of show the audience what we're talking about. That's interesting on the scale, though, Marcelo. That's it's not surprising, but it's definitely very interesting for sure.
I'm working on assets, by the way.
Okay, cool. That'd be great. And then are you seeing a demand, because obviously this is super centric to Joe collectors, military action figure people. Are you seeing a demand for action vehicles? Obviously, we've got the Oddfrogs, Bandito, we've got yours. Like, are you seeing more and more people inquiring about, are you going to make more? Are you going to make fighter jets? Are you going to make tanks? What's the general vibe thus far, day one?
Well, actually, I was surprised about that because I always think that the 112 scale vehicles are way too big and sometimes expensive, you know.
Mhm.
So I thought that people will try to ask for smaller vehicles, but they are actually asking for the bigger ones. So that's something that's really surprised me, but it was a good surprise because they are on the same line that I think about vehicles. It's like bigger, better, you know. And of course, everybody when he say 112, they ask if you are going to make it in 118, and sometimes they watching the 118 and they ask you if they want to be a 112 version. So like both scales have a demand, and of course they are sometimes it's the same public. People just want to collect 118, another 112, but vehicles are on the way because action vehicles is something pretty new in the concept is something new, but people start to realize the difference between a vehicle and an action vehicle, and that's something incredible because when you have an original design like we had with the Bandito and the Nightwolf, you have customization options and all that kind of stuff. People are really like it, and that's something that it was like a learning curve during these years that originality is what people want. And of course, a lot of people like me are tired to have 72 versions of Snake Eyes or so
Yeah.
give me something new, man.
Yeah.
And people
For sure.
Absolutely. I mean, I would have to agree with him too. I mean, one thing I'm noticing too about this year is just the 118 is really coming up, you know. I agree, you know, especially too now that so many figures they're able to pass on that detail now. You're seeing a lot more of the 118 scales that's coming out. They look so good. And I mean, if you can world build with those and you have those options, I mean, I, for one, originally used to collect 118 a lot more than I do currently, but that's because of the way the market kind of shifted. And I mean, for a while there, of course, there was some good 118, but for me, it was kind of hard to find the quality that I wanted, and they weren't really making the kind of things that I wanted. Now that all these companies are doing that, I feel a little bit more enticed to venture back into that 118 scale again. I think a lot of people are seeing that. You know, it's kind of exciting when a lot of the 112 world is getting more expensive. It's taking up a lot more space, and to be honest, it's a little saturated right now. I mean, everybody's coming out with this, and that, and I mean, the one thing I really love about Marcelo's ideas and his characters, like with Ace and everything, is it's something new, you know, and it takes me back to my childhood, really, but it's something that I haven't seen, which makes it fresh, you know. That's my opinion.
No, great opinion of it. You know, because look, I think we all start off as GI Joe fans. That's why they call this Joefest, and I think that now it forces Hasbro to want to, like, you know, catch up because there's so many innovative ideas that have the inspiration from GI Joe, yet are taking it into new folds. And when I see the stuff that's coming out from URU, I immediately start thinking about that as like here's something forward thinking, and I think you're getting that also from Fresh Monkey Fiction. I think you're getting that for Grindhouse Toys. I think you're getting that from Delta 17. Is that they've taken that concept and run with it, and that's the good thing about the industry. The independents now have positioned themselves to run things.
Yeah, the independent companies are who's listening right now, and I mean, that's what's looking really good right now. You know, I wouldn't have gone out and spent a bunch of money on, something that I really didn't want. But everything today that I did spend money on was something that really hit like a old nostalgia version of me. And everything that was made is by an independent company that I bought today. So.
Well, since you're talking about that, what were some of the purchases today, Mr. Diorama?
Marcelo.
Those-
Well, I mean, Delta Red called my name. Delta 17 called my name. There was some. What else did I do? I'm trying to look over here. I got some Marauder,
Okay.
some Creative Beast, some Savage Crucible, Fresh Monkey,
Okay.
Skeletron.
So
I don't know.
not
There's
a
some...
lot. Not a lot.
Nah, I just need like another bag to go home with.
Oh,
So.
Okay. Thank God there's an Ollie's out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure if Chet was here or any of you guys were here, Alex, Rad, I mean, y'all would have spent just as much money, if not more. So don't even judge.
I mean, I'm trying to spend money through you, so I don't know what you're talking.
Yeah,
That's the.
I'm sure.
What's up, Commander Bly? Yeah, that's the reason why I'm not there, is because I knew, like, I'd have to fly, and I don't want another suitcase full of. Because I did have quite a suitcase when we were at Toylanta, and so this being a Joefest, Lord knows what's going to be available there. So it's a little scary.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think this through.
Well, let me ask you a question, and this is for both of you, obviously. The deadly diorama, like, I think about, there's a gap in the industry. We just talked a little bit, like, before the show, of, like, there's not a lot of vehicles, right? And I think to go the same route, there's not a lot of play sets that are. I know Toy Box Chronicles. In chat, Alex, you talked about this a lot. So if you're an action figure collector, though, there's a gap in the market, right? There's few and far between, especially with, like, some of the very popular lines. So both of you are involved in either creating action vehicles or dioramas that represent, in some sense, play sets and or for professional photography, either or. What's your take on why those two things don't exist? Why are there not as many vehicles? Why the play sets? Why is it forced where you have to go either buy or have a customizer do it for you, or you have to do it yourself? Which, a lot of kids and even adult collectors, they just don't have the capability to create play sets or cool dioramas. Like, why is that a big thing in the industry right now? Why is it missing?
Man, on that, I think about it all the time, and the only thing that I can think of is that I would think that as big as these companies are, I feel that they might lack confidence in their product. I mean, you see these individuals, they make these beautiful pieces of work, right? And when a company does do it, they do it few, they do it far between, and they do it for way too much. And I don't know if it's because they feel that it takes too much time to develop or what it is, but when it comes to the commercialization of it, you don't see it, and the things that you do see are overpriced. They're not worth and what you get is not what you would want. One of my things is I hated trying to build a scene, but you're gonna put down when you're buying something made or mass produced. They charge an arm and a leg for it. For a street corner, you can go online and buy a street corner. How much are you going to find it for, though? And how hard do you have to dig for it? And I really think that that's a market that right now it's begging to be tapped into. You see there's companies, they do cardboard and they do stuff like that. But I mean, if they're doing the figures, I mean, there's really no risk in finishing what they started. I mean, you think about 118 back then when we were little, they had all those play sets that would come out, whether it was the sewer, the Marvel Avengers Tower, the big G.I. Joe play sets. It was everywhere. Now they only capitalize on the figures at this scale, but it's also too just because I think 112 is a scale that when we were younger, I didn't have 112. I didn't mess with 112. It was smaller, and I think what 112 I did have, they were more statuesque figures at that time.
Right.
I didn't have anything with good articulation or anything that I would really mess around with or think of applying the same things that I would with my smaller figures. I think what happened is that 112 kind of blew up and they didn't develop anything to go inside with it. And, right now the industry has reached a point to where I feel people are now, they're in love with 112, but it's also becoming a thing where how big can your collection get? And you have no space for any kind of dioramas or builds. But I really hope to see that with this new momentum that they're putting in world building and kind of going back to that Superman commercial that Mattel put out, that was awesome to see because it reminded me of like an old commercial. I don't know if you've seen it for the Superman action figures for the movie. That was cool. It reminded me of the commercials I used to watch. And hopefully, too, that'll entice people to want to do that because it's such an untapped market to world build, but it's just easier to do so at 118.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's just hard because you see the shift. You know what I'm saying? There's a shift in sales to where I feel 112 is a more popular scale to buy figures in, but 118 has more variety when it comes to world building. I feel right now we're finally getting to a place to where 118 is starting to feel a little bit more like a bigger figure at a smaller scale, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, for sure. Marcelo, what's your take on that, and also just why we don't see as many vehicles in the market, and that obviously your company is working really hard to produce some amazing vehicles to the market?
Well, I remember that when I was at ISHCOM, I have a conversation with a guy who used to work for the Fortnite, the video game.
Yeah.
Nowadays, he's fired. He doesn't have a job anymore. And I told him, what happened, man? You are an artist. You create great stuff. You work with Fortnite. It's like you're not nobody. You're someone in the industry, And he told me, well, what's happening with the industry right now? It's when we were kids, the people that develop toys do it with passion. Also happens with video games. Nowadays, they only focus on the profits. So if you guys want to see something original, something that is really made with passion, you have to go to the independent industry, because we don't want to do this for the profits. We do it because we love it, and we know how to do it because we do it the way we want to play with. We want the vehicle in that way, It's like if you have a little margin, it doesn't matter. But you go to Hasbro and you go to Mattel and ask them, okay, we are going to reduce the profit in 3%. No way.
Yeah.
But they and you ask me, you have to reduce the profit 10%. Go ahead, man. And that's the difference. I think that's the reason why big companies are not making vehicles, playsets, because you have to make a lot of money to create them. And then if the margin is not the way they want it, it's like, okay, repaint 2 versions of, I don't know, Captain America, Wolverine, and Snake Eyes, and we're good. I think that's the main reason.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
I also think. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think it's a little short-sighted because as a kid I had Star Wars toys, right? And so all the relatives and stuff would give me the figures, but then you could get the play sets and the vehicles, and so I would get a bunch of those, and it extends the life of the toys you're playing with, all sorts of new things. Absolutely. And made me want to actually take those out and play with them. And yeah, I think they're just wasting this opportunity.
Yeah, if you're not a reseller, right? It's one of two things. You actually play with the toys itself, like actually getting in there, and maybe you're doing photography, maybe, or two, you're more of a display collector and you want it to sit on a shelf or in a glass case. Either or, a diorama and a vehicle would look amazing to do that. Now, Deadly, you brought up a good point. 112, it gets, don't get me started. I got 1.6 behind me, so that's even crazier. but 112, you run out of space. So just I love 112. I grew up on 118. I would love to see more 118. We had Chris from Grindhouse, and obviously his toys are obviously at that scale. His figures, should I say? I would love to see that, because maybe if there was an industry shift, I'm not saying they're going to mass produce tons of vehicles or play sets, but maybe it just becomes a bit more affordable or collectible. I don't know, but that could be interesting.
But see, the way it all ties in is just the way they've left it in when they decided, hey, 112s, it seems like this is selling, let's do everything 112. Like how Marcelo said, it loses passion.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. But it's not even that it loses passion and because they're looking at the money. It's also too, when you have people that have no passion, they can't market their product. So if you look at marketing, the way figures, you can look at video games, you can look at movies, the way any of these things are marketed these days, it's awful. You don't know about any of it until it's there. And then what? They blame the commercial success or failure on what the product? No, it's not that the product was crappy. I mean, if G.I. Joe decided, hey, I'm going to make play sets from now on, and they put that time to market that play set as good as they marketed everything else, just like Doctor was saying, yes, it will extend the shelf life of your product because it's going to stay there. I mean, I had the same big G.I. Joe vehicles and buildings and things like that until they were literally not even functional anymore. They had no wheels, they had no steering wheels. They were basically just shells, but I used them forever. Absolutely. And that it greatly extended the life of how long I kept them and how long I stayed into those lines. I think if they shifted that, people would think of their collecting a little bit more than how many I can get and quantifying it. It's losing that passion, and that's where these independent creators, they're now making these products that we want, and they're now slowly trying to do that. And I think if we introduce those vehicles and those builds in, it's a totally great thing to do, and maybe the industry would be surprised that maybe they can work together in moving their products.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's very simple. I mean, if they're thinking that all these things are going to sit on the shelves, well, yeah, if you're not making the proper campaign for it, then it's going to sit there until it's worthless.
Yeah. Well, a couple of key things, since we're at obviously Joefest, and we have a very Joe-centric member of the chat. And he just wants to ask, speaking of vehicles, anyone here familiar with the Cobra Spider Cat? Deadly, did you guys see any of these on the shelf right now? I've got to think about this, but if you're there, you guys might have seen this popped up at the convention.
Cobra Spider Cat. What was that one? I don't remember that one.
That was towards near the end of the line. I am familiar with it hidden. But you guys might have seen any of these. There you go. That's what I love about the guys in the back.
Oh man. There were so many vehicles, I don't even know what I was seeing today.
All right. Well, if anybody comes on one, put it on their Instagram so they can actually see it live at Joefest.
Can I just say, by the way, if we
Absolutely.
go back to that,
Yeah.
I can imagine in the Hasbro room when that vehicle was made, when they were doing the pitch. Like, how do you put that and someone was like, what in the hell is that? And they were like, let's just run with it. Those were the days.
Yeah, that was the days.
Where it's like, I'm not sure this is gonna sell. It's kind of weird, but let's call it Cobra Spider Cat. And it's
Spider
on the
Cat.
Well, since we're sitting over at Joefest too, and you've got URU Toys over there, Marcel, and I know Simplify is coming, and that's going to be the comic book version of the. Just going to tell us the whole world and everything. But can you explain a couple of the key elements so we can get people already hyped? So when they know the comics coming and they know what to get with the Nightwolf, give us some breakdown on some of those characters over there.
Okay, but first of all, I have to warn you that my artist Diego Tapie always tell me no spoilers, man. But okay,
we don't
Okay,
need to show images, just maybe
Yeah.
one or two couple of things. Give us
right. No, it's like I always talk to a friend and always told me you do it on the opposite way, because you first design a vehicle and now you're trying to make your own universe with your characters and all that kind of stuff. You should go to the back to forward, it's like the opposite way. But that's the reason why we make Semperfi, because we try to make our own universe for our toys, and it is in the near future. We have some kind of conflict between machines and human, but it's something more about philosophy, because I always want to say, imagine when you have a Marvel Civil War. You have Iron Man standing and Captain America standing. You can't tell that one is wrong and the other one is right, or one is the evil one and the other guy is the good guys. So it's all about your opinion, It's something like that. So in Semperfi happens something like that, because we have an AI that it is controlling everything, but it was created to make the human life easier. So this intelligence once decided, after make thousands of calculations, that the human race must survive only if he joins together with the machines, like a fusion between humans and machines. So you have people who are against them and people who are in favor of it. So people who are against them are the people from Semperfi, because they don't want to join his body, his mind together into a whole network and sharing all kind of stuff. And the main reason why they don't want to do that is because, are we still humans or are we something else? And where the conflict begins, and that's where you have two different positions and people who defends ones and the other one defends the others. And that's the only why the reason the humans create those superhumans or mutants like Ace to defend themselves from the machines. Well, I would like to tell you more, but
yeah.
Call me and tell me, dude, stop talking about
Well, you gave us too much now.
we need views and clicks, so we're gonna say spoilers. We're gonna say leaks. Just kidding.
Commander Bly is already starting as the Marine Corps coming after you for intellectual property.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, we'll tell your artist. No, nothing happened, man. He didn't say anything. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. So, are you gonna? I know with the Nightwolf, it's in 1/18th and 1/12th. Is that also going to be along with the figures? Are we going to see 1/18th and 1/12th in that, or?
Yeah, we first start with the figures in 1/12, but of course we have intentions to have it in 1/18 too.
And the best thing about the Nightwolf is if you actually purchase a Nightwolf, you can put any kind of other figure with it as well, right? It's made to be world built for, like, if you're into whatever line. We might even see some Grindhouse toys actually jumping in that 1/18th version of the Nightwolf.
Well, actually, when we were at Ishcon, we were neighbors, and we were talking a lot about all that stuff. And they said, "Okay, let's know how to make the Kickstarter first, and let's figure out how to make it ready to sell, and then we can talk and decide what we can do." Because we both think the same way, so it's something. How can I tell you? It's gonna be natural to have a fusion between both companies. You know.
Absolutely, that's great.
I think the biggest issue I'm facing right now is like, how the hell am I going to have 3 different versions of Bandito and then a 118 and 112 scale Nightwolf? I have no place to put it. I'm gonna have to sell some of this stuff to make room.
No.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, but
you know.
it is a common problem. But I know the problem. Yeah, that problem is your house is way too small.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, he was right. I was about to say we need to call a realtor. Get Rad a new realtor.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to
And by
get
the way,
an
there's
annex.
Was that Deli?
You're gonna have to get an annex.
Yeah. I mean, geez. I mean, just the Oddfrog like room alone. I mean, you could how many different versions of the Bandito you can actually different paint jobs. It's gonna get wild.
I'm up to about 50 right now, bro. So you know that's.
I'm gonna feel like Vin Diesel though. I'm gonna have my own. I'm gonna have a garage full of cars. They just might not be, actual cars. They might be 112 scale, but hey, I'll take it. I'll take it.
I need to get that custom family paint job now.
Yeah. So now, anything you guys are looking forward to this weekend? Because you guys were obviously in preview night tonight, looking around and everything else like that. But like, what else is on the horizon? You guys, any panels or anything, or anything anybody else needs to? And if they need to see you at the, we've got some people that might be in Augusta. Do you guys know your booth number or what your vicinity and the convention is, so people can find you while you're there?
Yeah, we're at V21, space V21. We're right outside the main hall. You can't miss us. We're right there next to Vasco Toys as well, right by the entrance. As soon as you go in, Delta 17's there. Yeah, you'll see us right in that middle section.
Okay.
Yeah, down towards the bottom in the middle, where the vegetable is. Yeah, so we'll be out there. As far as what I'm looking forward to, man, I haven't even been able to process everything I saw today. It was kind of like I Spy, so I just beeline to what I knew I wanted at first. So
makes sense, brother. What about you, Marcelo? Anything you're looking forward to on the weekend?
Well, actually, I jumped into his tank that I didn't have when I was a kid.
Okay.
I said, I'm gonna get it. This one, his too.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. There for the Joe. Okay.
Yeah. And then I think we are having a podcast tomorrow with the Purple Gang.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
And of course, a lot of people went to the booth and take a look at what we have, and they say, I'm gonna go back later. I think Sunday will be the day when we are having all that meetings, and it's gonna be awesome because a lot of people like to collaborate between each other. Like, hey, you make vehicles, I make dioramas. Let's figure out how to make something together. That kind of. And I think that's the craziest and the best thing about these shows, because you met other kind of people and they want to share what they do with you, and also it's like okay, let's promote both of our work together and without making competition. It's like sharing, not competing.
Yeah, makes sense. Wow, well, watch those Purple Gang guys.
Yeah.
No, they're running around causing trouble like always.
That's our boys. That's what they do.
Yeah.
For the
also saw Seth. We saw Seth Green in the hotel down with the Purple Gang. So I know he's running around there, probably looking for more vehicles as well for Robot Chicken. So you never know.
Oh yeah, he came by the booth for a little bit too. He was checking out the Nightwolf.
Great.
and what we had. I didn't have the Bandito with us though. Thankfully, it is here now though. It got here a little late, but it will be on display tomorrow.
Well, I think some members of his production company saw it in LA when the Bandito was here, right? If I recall. Yeah.
I think they just saw it. But
yeah, so it'll be exciting to have the Bandito out there tomorrow with everything else too. So.
Right. So, like I said, make sure you guys stop by that table. And thank you, Mercedes. And also, you guys were saying V21. So make sure you guys are going there. You can see the awesomeness of the Nightwolf. My new favorite character, Ace, will be on the table right there. And then you can actually see the Bandito in all of its glory. And, look, if you guys are into those type of things, make sure you guys are stop on my booth and let everybody know, if you like the vehicle, because that's what Deadly Diorama and URU's there for, is to actually speak on, their products. So don't be shy and ask them, and ask them when it's going to be out and what their plans are, because other than the comic book, which we know the artist has made Marcelo sign an NDA not to be able to speak about that, but everything else is up for grabs and go by the booth.
now text me, send me the link. Okay, no, I don't want to do that.
And we've got Diego.
Diego, thank you for stopping by YouTube. We saw you follow us over on Instagram. Appreciate that. So
Absolutely.
Thank you, Diego.
Yeah, I have to shut up, man.
Just quickly, just so people who are looking to follow you, where's the best place to follow you, Marcelo, and Deadly? Socials, websites? What's the best way to see you, get a hold of you?
Yeah, Instagram is the best place. We have URU.toys. Is URU.toys. That's where we post everything we are making. And then we have a website that you can link it from the Instagram. So follow us on Instagram and you get all the news about URU Toys.
All right.
Absolutely. And then I'm just Deadly Dioramas on Instagram. You know me. I will say, though, this convention is kind of incomplete without you guys. Kind of bummed out over here, man.
It's true.
Believe me. We're bummed out, too.
Well, the biggest thing that's is lacking is the After Dark special. Which,
absolutely.
I guess we'll have to do that sometime in October with the LA Comic Con. But yeah, definitely a bummer. But I'm glad, because again, I wasn't trying to buy 30 bags of toys, so it saved my wallet as much as I miss everyone.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure if y'all were here, that probably wouldn't. We would have just enabled each other more. So.
Oh no.
Well, Chet would have had like 10 boxes of G1 Transformers. So like we can't send him. That's
you guys would have been like, man, this guy's buying way too much. I'm uncomfortable, and returned all your shit. So I would have been the
Well, that's why we drove to Toy Atlanta, because we knew we didn't want to pay for that stuff going on the airplane. We could just pack it up in the back of the truck. I think we'll have to bring a U-Haul the next time we go, though, man.
I don't know. I'm gonna be in a collecting race next time with you, Chet. We'll see who brings a bigger haul.
Oh no, we're gonna combine money and we're just gonna get a haul going.
even better. Let's just pool, community pool.
I just have a better idea. You all need to get an Optimus U-Haul. That's what you need. No one's ever made that. It's time. It's time.
There we go.
Yeah.
Just make the mechs that we're already making, right? Just make them bigger.
Absolutely. After this, any other plans, any other events, either between Marcelo, or Deadly? Like, when's the next time that people can actually, other than this weekend over at Joefest, when can they see the awesomeness of some of the other vehicles and things you guys are doing?
Well, actually, now we are in the process of finishing the 118 Nightwolf.
Okay.
So we are going to figure out the date that we release it. Mm-hmm. And once we have that date, we are going to go back to conventions and show all the people the stuff we have. Also, we need to finish the comic book. So this year, and we probably by the end of the year we're gonna be in a convention, but I can't tell you now which one is gonna be.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And Deadly, where
Yeah.
can they find you at? Because we know you're zipping all over the country, my friend.
My house.
I mean, yeah, I'll be at Chet's here in a little bit, but I mean, just wherever I'm needed, wherever the company needs to go. I mean, the goal is to get the name out there because marketing is key. So hopefully we can get it out there, show people that it's a good product, and wherever I need to be, I'll be there. Just shoot me a message.
Okay. All right. Well, this is not the last time we will see URU Toys. In fact, we'll be seeing an awful lot here, and especially Deadly Dioramas. But also, if you haven't done it right now, please make sure that you click that subscribe button and hit those notification bells so you can see any other upcoming appearances when they're coming back here. So, other than that, you guys, anything else you guys want to run down for us? Any other little surprise? Other than that's not going to get Marcelo into trouble. Any other little surprises we need to know about?
I mean, if you haven't already, go on down to Oddfrog Entertainment and pre-order you a Bandito. Definitely check out, URU Toys and get ready for the Nightwolf. And of course, shoot us a message, see what we got going. I'm excited, and hopefully everybody here at Joefest is having a good time. Hit up Grindhouse. That's going to be an awesome line. That's almost there. If it hasn't hit gold by now, hit it up.
Yeah, hopefully that can happen over the weekend. And when you guys are there, say hi to the Purple Gang Gang. Give Vance and Jordan hugs for all of us and everything. We miss those guys.
Absolutely.
We gentlemen, we thank you for your time. So gracious to come in at any time. Open invitation anytime you guys want to come back. And also, Deadly's going to be our in-street reporter that's going to be sending. So when you see things roll through the website and everything back and everything, that'll be Deadly supplying all those images for us all weekend long. So we appreciate that, brother.
Yes, sir. I'll be on it tomorrow.
All right, guys. Well, appreciate that thing. No, the show's not over, Oddfrog. We just actually have to let
we're letting them go so they can go eat and hang out. Like we still got more going on.
It's 11 o'clock at night almost, man. These guys got to go to bed. They got to go to. Obviously, you can tell that the Oddfrog guys are here in Southern California.
I gotta go to bed too.
We got some.
Man.
We got some SKN news and some stuff going up, but we're gonna cut you guys. But we appreciate you guys for popping in, man. Thank you guys so much, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
Take care,
guys. Talk later.
Later.
All right. Well, like I said again, everybody got an inside look at Joefest. And wow, you're gonna get to see more stuff. So make sure if you haven't done it and subscribe to us over here on the Shadow Notes Network.
I did want to show this.
Yeah, you had to see that booth. Didn't that booth was fantastic, brother?
It is.
Did he? I think he was close to 100% funding.
He's close
as of this morning.
Oh, that display right there. That's got your name on it, Chet. That's got your name on it.
He's not going to give it to me.
I know he's not. Maybe we'll put up we'll fund something together and we'll make him an offer he can't refuse. Yeah, that's a display. That's how you do displays.
Yeah, this is really good.
Wow.
Yeah, no, look, it's such a good booth. It's gonna be hard to beat that booth.
It is. It's good in a way because now this sets the bar for everyone else. You just can't go with just the backdrop and some regular stuff. Like you really got to put some thought and effort. And that's the best thing about the independent game right now is that a lot of these toy makers are putting that thought in. So I can't wait to see some of the other. We may see something looks like a mobile food truck or something for God's sakes. We don't know.
Yeah.
Well, like I said again, man, we've been running through this, and like I said, last week we had Chris on, and we ran through some things. We didn't really hit our regular segment, but guess what has returning this week? Guess what? SKN News is back this week, man. We got a lot of things to cover this week, don't we, Red?
Oh, some interesting stuff. So let's jump right into it.
Uh-oh. Well, you know what they say. From your world to my world, it's SKN News, and we've got a lot of stuff this week. So, like, if you haven't done it, everything, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell. But the best thing is put those seatbelts on because we are going for a ride this week. And we are going to start with the end of a comic shop staple. That's right. It was announced earlier that we already knew that At Popman had purchased Diamond, and they said, no, everything's going to run the same. Well, only takes a couple of weeks to know that somebody was very fortuitous with the truth. But the end of a staple, which is if you've ever been into a comic shop and you've gotten the previews, well, it was kind of like a catalog that we had run used to. And right here on the bottom, it says 37 years, 441 issues. But Diamond Comic Distributors, under new ownership, has printed its last preview catalog. Company announced in an email to retailers today, instead of it offering previews and preview customer order forms as digital files via the Jogma platform, there's no cost for the digital version. The digital product will contain links to previewworld.com that enables your customers to obtain ordering information before submitting their preview customer order forms. Meanwhile, this spells doom for the unfortunate staff that has been producing previews for decades. It's uncertain with their future. We've always had this scenario where we've talked about this for the longest, is that when a new company comes in, this is the kind of stuff that definitely happens.
And this is very much like like collector focused. Some of their lesser known customers that use the Joe Mag experience are just I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but like Costco and Spectrum, HP, Dell, McCormick, like a lot of people that you probably don't know or hear of them, so they really know how to just tailor to those collectors. It's going to be fantastic.
Well, this is going to save them a ton of money. First of all, this is probably why they went bankrupt in the first place, is because they keep making a magazine. And today, this 37 years of these, it's like half the size of an old phone book. It's probably responsible for about 2% of the deforestation across the world.
Let me express to you right now. That's not why they went bankrupt. You in no way, form, shape, or form are running any part of the company if you think that's why they went bankrupt.
Look. All I know is I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna put it in a frame, collector's case, and it's gonna sit right next to my last episode of a magazine of Wizard. Electronic Gaming Monthly and Yellow Pages. It'll sit all on the same shelf. Rest in peace for previews. I think there's one thing that I remember about this is if you ever had a company or if you were a publisher that started with either Y or Z, no one would ever find you. I remember there was about 500 companies or publishers that started with A. Thank you, previews, for leaving out the folks that had T and below for the ordering forms. But yeah, sad. We move on. Welcome to the digital age. It's been here for some time.
Absolutely. And from this point on, we're starting a new segment here, which we are going to call the Rumor Alert. So from this point on, there'll be some separate videos and some other situations that'll happen from this. So SK and News is expanding, but the Rumor Alert, there's a couple of key things that we're going to let you know before we move over to the next slide, is that one, these are rumors. Some that are proven to be real and some aren't. So we're going to kind of let you know through a grading system where we're going to say pretty much, if it's a fact, all right, and should you take this with a grain of salt, which we think is not going to happen. So we're going to hit the first one up tonight, and the rumor is going to be, and you've been hearing it all over the news, which is Kevin Feige. There was a report that was put up on a X page, which you got to understand where the source of that comes from. That said that he was stepping down, but that's not what basically our sources have been telling us all over the place. And this is how you know if something is definitely. Again, it was learned from an X site, and the rumor that's coming through is actually the source is Yahoo saying that's not the case. That no, Kevin Feige is not leaving Marvel Studios. Recent rumors claim his departure after Avengers: Secret War are false. He remains the president of Marvel Studios and continues to be involved in the creative direction of the MCU. While there has been past rumors about Fergie's potential leaving, possibly to work on the Star Wars reboot, these have not materialized. He is still discussing future MCU products, and his commitment to the franchise remains strong. So, like, again, I know a lot of people said the same thing. We had this earlier in the year was Kathleen Kennedy was stepping down, and then we found out, oh, that wasn't happening.
Well, let me clarify the rumor. If Fantastic Four is a flop, he won't be stepping down. He'll be pushed off the cliff. So let's just be clear here.
At least for now, he has a job.
Yeah.
I don't
a voluntary.
I don't think you could get rid of Feige unless, of course, exactly what Rad says.
Yeah, listen,
right.
Like, it grossed nothing, Chet. Like, it was like if it gets an all-time low, then he's gone.
No, I think there's so much writing on Fantastic Four that the worst thing to happen for Fantastic Four is people say Superman's better.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say.
We'll see. Actually, again, I think a lot of people look at when you see something like it was like I think it was Marvel fans an X account or something. Like, don't
Well,
like,
look,
source is Yahoo or some Yahoo.
I mean, here's the good news, though. Here's the good news, because if Fantastic Four is a flop or not, he still have Ironheart on Disney Plus. I heard that this is going to be one of the best TV shows ever. So, at least he has that.
Everyone knows a good executive. The reason why they retain jobs is they find someone to constantly blame it on. And that's how you know you have a good executive. And I'm sure there's a lot of asses to roll, but it won't be Kevin Feige. But right now we're seeing that rumor. It's a grain of salt because obviously an actual trusted news source has debunked that. So, but like Mr. Maddox said, let's give it to the first 2 weeks of Fantastic Four, because Dr. Brentley and I know this. Usually after a poor performance at a theater, Monday morning is when they give you the 2 members of security walk you to the office, and they give you that box, and they tell you have half an hour.
Box, baby.
Yeah, so we'll see if there's anybody escorted off the premises in a couple of weeks. So we got to figure that out. From there, another rumor that's hitting us, and there's another report red hot, is now this one we're going to actually move this to fact, not a rumor, because we saw this on the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline and everyone else. But guess what? If you thought that just Daredevil Born Again Season 2 was the only time we're going to see the the Punisher, you've made a terrible mistake, because guess what? The one pairing that we have wanted to see since we've seen it in Marvel Comics, Spider-Man and the Punisher, is going to collide in Brand New Day. That is right. It's reported that John Bernthal has joined Tom Holland in Spider-Man Brand New Day, the latest Spider-Man movie from Sony and Marvel. Destin Daniels Creighton is directing the feature, which will shoot in England this summer and has a July 31st, 2026 release date. Much of the movie remains shrouded in mystery. Movie rumored websites have listed upwards to a dozen possible villains, from crime bosses to alien symbiotes, who could appear in the feature, as well as a couple of different versions of the Incredible Hulk. But we know for fact that we will be getting the Punisher and the legit version of the Punisher, and I'm going to see how that's going to work with Spider-Man, because that's going to up that a little bit. But are you guys excited about this, or
Well, I mean, I was until you said Punisher. I was like, oh, Predators in Spider-Man?
I'm sorry, that. But actually, you know what? It's over in the Marvel Universe. That is actually Spider-Man.
I know. That's why I was like,
that worked too.
I'm down. I'm down. I don't know about this.
This is so interesting to me that they leaked this, right? Like, we've heard rumors of Daredevil. Charlie Cox like, I'm not in it. I don't think they'll reveal it. I think he will be in it inevitably.
Yes.
I think Kingpin might make an appearance, especially Punisher's in it. We'll see. But why did they leak Punisher already? Because Marvel's very secretive. There's got to be something beyond the scenes here, because we've been asking it for the longest time. We want Punisher on cinema, and Spidey and Punisher would be incredible to see. So I don't know what that tells us, other than I'm just so surprised this is the first time we hear it, and it's him.
Some of this stuff I don't think is leak necessarily, as it's just his management saying, hey, guess what? John Bernthal got a new job, because they put all this stuff out in the Hollywood trade papers. You know, it's like who's got what job and blah, blah, blah. And they're positioning their guy to make more money later on because he's in this stuff and it's high profile.
But I think, don't you sign NDAs though? Like they're
well, yes, they do, but I think it's different with how the companies work and how all, you know, like Hollywood Reporter and Variety work. They're trying to get the scoops of who's doing what. And it's only more recently, like within the last 10 years, that it's been a thing where people are looking at the Hollywood trades to see all this stuff about, oh, who's going to be in this, and, you know, start fan casting and guessing, you know, what characters are going to be in these things.
Look, this is just a rumor, but I do think that was mutual. I just think it's such a big thing for Punisher to be in a Spider-Man film that I can imagine.
That's where he started.
But if Marvel and Disney did not want this to get out, they wouldn't have allowed it to get out.
Yeah,
they must have been okay with them announcing
I'm
it,
sure.
which is like, because look, we're talking about it, and I'm sure everyone else is going to be talking about, holy shit, Punisher's in a Spider-Man film.
Yeah, they've got to build up hype for this, man.
And how the hell is Punisher in a Spider-Man film? Because Spider-Man's not a rated R film, so it's like that.
Oh, but it will be. It may go up a notch.
Well, and also, how do you top the last movie, right? Because having the 3 different Spider-Men and all the villains, right? So they've got to do something that's like, hey, look, we're not just going to go back to, you know, Spider-Man and some little villain stuff.
Yeah,
they're still expanding this, and these are going to be huge movies.
And look, this is what we wanted. We wanted the street level characters to appear on the screen. That gives us a chance that we're going to see other street, because when we saw Charlie Cox and Daredevil in the last Spider-Man movie, we were like, well, what the heck's going on? I'm glad that they're using that trend to go from getting people to watch the Disney Plus shows that will probably miss out on the movies, and vice versa. It's a very clean situation. What happened to the rumors about the MCU Hulk showing up in the next Spider-Man movie? Like I said on the slide hidden, we don't, you know, they're saying there may be a couple of different versions. We don't know right now. We're going to use it as a grain of salt, but we know that this is fact right now, that Punisher will be in there. But if it does update, we'll have another rumor report, let you know. So from there, you know, our last rumor to debunk of the night and everything, and unfortunately this is not going to go over well. We have always said to ourselves that we are the home of Star Trek, and again, somebody, either the Wrath of Khan or the Wrath of Paramount, has happened. But we know that this is a fact, that before the third season has premiered, they have said a no-go on Star Trek Strange New Worlds. They're getting ready to go into the 4th season of production, and they said it's going to be a smaller episode 5, but it's going to be an end after 5 seasons of Strange New Worlds. And we will run this up where the Star Trek Strange New Worlds will be phased out with a 5th season. Paramount Plus announced the series has been renewed for a 5th season, will consist of only 6 episodes. The season will also be the show's last. From the very beginning, Strange New World set out to honor what Star Trek has always stood for: boundless curiosity, hope, and the belief that a better future is possible, said executive producer Avi Goldsman, Henry Alonzo Myers, and Alex Kurtzman. In a joint statement, we are deeply grateful to Paramount Plus for the chance to complete our 5-season mission just as we envisioned it, along with extraordinary cast and the crew and the passionate fans who are boldly joining us on this journey. Thank you. And look, every season of this show has gotten better, but I will say this: there was not a rumor that when Skydance and Paramount were having their initial meetings about the merger, they seeked out an independent firm, and the independent firm said, what's the best thing that we could do for Star Trek? And they said, end everything. They said to get the Secret Hideout, which is Kurtzman's actual company, get him out of here as quick as possible, cancel the show, and they said only give maybe 2 or 3 seasons to the new Star Trek Academy or Starfleet Academy. That way you can actually start a reboot and brand and do it all on yourself. So true to game, somebody are listening to their financial analysts because this started to come down. So I'm pretty sure that we get maybe 2.5, maybe 3 seasons out of Starfleet Academy. So that show has already said it's going to be doomed from the point on. But look, it gives a chance for them to go in a fresh, rebooted way. I know a lot of people were a little discouraged the way Discovery went. So this gives an opportunity to maybe get some fresh new eyes, a different production company in there. But what are you guys' thoughts about Strange New World setting in the sunset on it?
It's dumb to announce before even half of the show, right? The entirety of the show. We've only seen like a third of it so far, and they're already canceled it. So it's like, okay, so I guess seasons 3, 4, and 5 aren't that important. But you know,
yeah, I think it went bad too. Where Prodigy was a very good show. And it seemed like, just everything in their ether was going to just try to cancel this show as much as they could. Look, I think they have a problem with the executive producers, and I think they want them out, and I think they want to close it out. But you're right. This is one of those James Gunn's moments where you're like, yeah, we're going to get rid of the whole universe, but we still got 2 movies for the last universe to do out. And people are like, well, why watch that crap now?
Yeah, I think they lost whatever potential audience was left. I think that people would just kind of say, like, I don't need to spend any more of my time watching it. I know it's ending. I don't have to pay attention to that. I think they did. I think they did it a disservice. I think it would have been more impactful if they announced it after, like, right before season 5 hit. This is trash, I think.
Yeah.
You do like you do. It's the final season, and you make a whole big thing of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've just wasted all of that because, we know it's the final season, and the next one's going to be the final season, and the one after that's going to be the final season too, because it's all over.
Absolutely.
They should have done. Remember, we a couple episodes back, we mentioned the new comic book Red Shirts. If you're gonna make a TV show, do that. That would be super entertaining. But they just can't get it completely right here. Maybe it just needs to go somewhere else, another streaming service to try.
Well, I think you're right on that, brother. I think Paramount Plus is handicapped with a bunch. It's probably one of the lower tiers next to that and Peacock. It's just not working for them. They probably need to go back to the Netflix philosophy or some other place. But I think every company that has its own streaming network, I don't think it works. There's a couple of successful ones, and this is the kind of stuff we constantly keep getting out of Paramount Plus, where you get a season or 2, and it's like, we're not bringing the show back. And it's disappointing, but I do know that the sun is not set on Star Trek, because they will probably reboot this with a brand new creative team somewhere down the line. It's going to be interesting to see where the next producers go, because we always get something a little different every time a new set of producers come in. Hey, maybe they go back to Rick Berman. You never know what goes on with this. So,
I tell you, I think we should throw our hat in the ring. This is what I was thinking. Is you do a giant mini-series crossover event kind of a thing, and you get everyone who's still alive from the original series, Next Generation, Voyager, Enterprise.
Bring Kirk in. Come on,
seriously.
Shatner, one more time.
You do like something that goes across all the multiverses of Star Trek, and you finally consolidate it like Crisis on Infinite Earths onto the one original Star Trek timeline. And you can have all this crazy stuff, but then at the very end collapse it and go forward with the whole universe that everyone knows and loves.
I would just like to put a disclaimer up here. This is why Dr. Brentley and I don't work as much, because he gives out our crap all over here. And guess what? Now somebody at home is typing it up and they're going to be running right into the Paramount office and be like, that's another job, Dr. Brentley, we didn't get.
Well,
But they won't do it as well.
you heard it here first. The next Star Trek series on Netflix. And we didn't see a dime, but we're
Yeah, we might as well just give out the title too, Star Trek Timeline. Just out there right now. Might as well just do it.
Yeah.
Well, if you've been seeing the calls in the sky and have been looking at every advertisement, everything else like that, one of the things that we always do with SKN News is, we love one feature mostly, and that's popcorn buckets. Well, we got some coming up this way and everything that, and we've got to go over the massive amounts of stuff that it is. So let's start this off with, you knew it was coming, with Guns Superman popcorn buckets. In celebration of the upcoming release of Superman, Warner Brothers Pictures and DC Studios have partnered with major U.S. theater chains, AMC, Regal Cinema, Cinemark, to launch exclusive themed popcorn buckets, cups, collectible merchandise to bring fans closer to the world of the iconic superhero. The collections of must-have moviegoer memorabilia will feature creative nods to Superman's legacy, his Kryptonian origins, even his loyal canine companion, Krypto the Superdog. These limited editions items will be available while only supplies last, which we know that's crap, because every time we go to the theater, I've never seen a supply of popcorn buckets where we're at. So, but let's start off with these, obviously, the showings from AMC. AMC has gone with, and I know that a lot of people out there, and this is one for the kiddies out there that might be some of the latest members of our generations walking around. They probably never seen how actual newspapers were distributed to us old timers. But that is a newspaper kiosk that used to be on the street. You put some change in, you used to get newspapers out, just in case somebody hadn't seen that in about 25 years. But
okay, we have to explain a few things: what change is, what newspaper kiosks are, and what newspapers are.
Exactly.
And what day, and why Sunday was the day that all the new ones came out.
Exactly. So you've got that. You've got Superman drinking cup right there, a keychain, and crypto. I don't know what that is, a badge or whatever. And then if you go to the IMAX showings, well, they give you a comic book, which is smart by DC Comics. They should be giving that across the entire every chain, because you want to put comics in the hands of people who are reading it.
I'm mad because his comic doesn't make Crypto look as shitty as he does in the movie, so it's a little annoying.
Well, hey, there's still some time, brother. There's still some time. Give a moment. But that's, if we were done, that would be it. But no, there's way more stuff coming from that. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so now we roll over to
Heat Vision. Yes, Heat Vision. Yes.
I'm into the Heat Vision popcorn bucket. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So he's gonna heat up
a bucket. That's a popcorn machine,
which is even better.
This one. So if you go to Regal Cinema, you can actually get this exclusive one where Superman's Heat Vision is actually making the popcorn pop up. Now I don't know how big this thing is, so it'd be interesting to see. I hope it's actually, and I think you probably eat popcorn through the top of it. We'll see however they make this. But then also they've got the Krypto popcorn bucket where you can eat out a dog dish with the Superman thing on it, and they've got some some actually high flying light up cups, so you get to see Superman in his glory flying above. Or then you've got some other collectible cups and everything you got there. So Regal's got some interesting things going on. I was like, okay, at least it was creative. I give them credit on that. But to say that was it, no, there's still more, man.
Hold on a second. I go back real quick.
Yeah, sure.
The Galactus popcorn bucket that I wanted turned out to be like $80.
Yes.
How much is this Heat Vision popcorn bucket going to be? Conquest, hello, welcome in.
Yeah, thank you, Conquest. The hidden says, does the comic have anything of guns planned for the DC Green Lanterns? I don't know, sir. But if you, I guess not. if you book something, you book an IMAX ticket, you'll find out more than that, because I'm sure they're probably going to keep this under wraps since it's an IMAX exclusive. because they pay for those things. They don't want it out. So we'll have to see. And then, of course, here's my man Meeks that said that crypto bucket looks like it holds about a handful of popcorn. Believe me, most of these were. And Conquest is asking us about Joefest. Conquest, thanks for popping in, brother. And also make sure you subscribe. You'll have to be on the replay crew because we had Marcelo and Deadly Diorama from Joefest. We were in studio, but they were live in Augusta. So if you watch this replay a little back, you'll be able to see that down. But they were having a good time.
There'll be more like photos and stuff popping up on our YouTube channel and the community part too as well. So just make sure you're on that.
Yeah, it's Friday, Saturday is usually the biggest days for Joefest. We'll have some videos and photos of it. It doesn't matter about the Heat Vision popcorn popper bucket because they made 4 of them. But there'll be plenty of Crypto's popcorn bucket available. So at any point in time you want one of those.
It doesn't even look like the damn dog in the movie. This is a cute dog. The one in the movie is like a mutt, and which we will see in the next slide. It's not an attractive dog.
Yeah. Well, again, if you think that we're done with that, there's some heat vision blowing one more time. We've got some things now. Actually, I saw this.
Is that Alfred E. Newman in that on that bucket? Is that literally?
You are? Oh my God! Let me.
Oh man.
Well, they've got the crypto, which is like giving you a bag of popcorn. It's red baggage, but there's crypto sitting right there. I've seen this in 3D glory on some videos where it's spinning around and everything. This is not a small bucket. I don't know if it's as big as a Galactus, but the dog is holding a bunch of popcorn. Now the one that I'm suspect on, because I can swear to God they just reissued this from Dogman. Yep. It's the Superman dog dish. Why he would actually put his initials on dog dish is beyond me, but
Well, can we laugh at the fact that so far some movies have been successful at getting people to eat out of dog bowls?
Yes, they have been. Exactly. Wait till they do the Alpo can.
Yeah, exactly. They have a trough in one of the theaters where you just bend down and just get your water and popcorn.
Next time there's a Western, they need to have like a horse trough.
Yeah, I don't believe it. Don't go ask
Dr. Brentley, we're going to need you to stop talking on our shows if you give away all the ideas.
Because that's a coming. That's a coming. And then they've got a couple of collector popcorn ones. One with the actual actor of the Superman movie, and then one where they probably are not paying the DC artist to reuse his artwork on one. So somebody's probably pissed that he's not even getting a product.
I'm telling you, that's not the actor on the left cup. That is Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazines.
And that artwork on that cup looks pretty familiar too.
Yeah, it's yeah. I just look. I think I've seen that porcelain dog somewhere too, man.
Like this mother didn't pay me damn thing for these cups. I'm
trying to think, but was it not the was it the Sony ad that had the dog? Because I've seen that dog before, and I think they just took that porcelain dog. RCA, that's what it was. What it was. The dog just keeps looking different across the board. Like it's like, all right, yeah, just throw them on the stuff.
It's a copper tone dog, something like that.
Exactly.
Someone's gonna mess up and put the Target dog on there, and be like, no one's gonna.
Yeah, exactly. Or Spud.
And then Meek said, you can catch your kid eating out of the dog's bowl. You'll know why. Yeah.
And,
raise them right.
It's like a guess that the hot dog wouldn't be appropriate since Warner Brothers wants us to respect DC's crypto. Yeah, I think so, brother. I think they won't go that far into hidden. But yeah, again, another dog dish. I give him credit, but this one's got the Superman symbol on. So again. You don't want your kids to emulate anything from the, from dog. Because normally you don't want them in the dog dish.
Conquest, if they actually had taxidermy, put that quote, the quote of the night. Maybe it's me with the dog looks like taxidermy. If they actually had a taxidermy crypto, I'm all in. Might be scary for the kids. But
that's so good. That's
getting
so
wild,
good.
Man. The popcorn bucket game's getting wild.
It is, bro. They got to keep going bigger and better, bro. Bigger and better. But you know what, gentlemen? That is the end of SKN News for this week.
Mr. Storm, thank you for giving us the latest and greatest in all pop culture, including popcorn buckets. Pop culture, popcorn. You see the parallel there.
I
Well,
have to say though,
I see
it's
what you did
pretty
there.
disappointing. I think I know you guys like the heat vision ones, but like some of the fake ones that I've seen, people
Yes.
like did were better. Like even the one with just the trunks, I was like, that's kind of a better popcorn bucket than the things I'm seeing here. But
Mhm.
well, there is
Well,
look. I'm so surprised they went with a bowl, as in a dog bowl, instead of being able to eat out of the bowl cut of Guy Gardner, where you can just put popcorn in the bowl cut.
Oh my god.
oh,
That
now
would have
that's
been-
perfect. The bowl cut of Guy Gardner.
Yes.
Uh,
You see?
Thank
You
God they
see?
didn't do that.
put it
Yeah.
on your head. Take it off.
I do want to share something really quick.
Okay.
So I just got this in from Deadly Dio.
Okay.
This is his haul from what he picked up
Uh-oh.
just today.
You bought a bunch of popcorn
yeah,
buckets.
He loves
Really
popcorn
nice.
He got-
too.
Wow.
man.
Wow.
Oh, he
So
got the,
Conquest Productions, if you want to know what the haul is looking like from there, this was our friend Deadly Dioramas, which you can catch him on Instagram as well, or over on our Instagram page, Shadow Nose Network. This is day one haul, and this was only preview night.
Well, yeah, it's not even a full day.
Jeez.
He got all of this accomplished in like no time.
Hours, bro. Literally a couple of hours. Thank God we didn't go, because I'm looking at the amount of money that we're already spending, and yeah, wow. Oh my goodness.
I mean, the Delta 17 stuff looks really good.
Yes, I like the
Yeah, I like
Spartacks on that.
yeah, for
Robo
sure.
Skull stuff too looks pretty dope right then too. Wow,
Yeah.
man. He's
Yeah, I want
hey.
those Robo Skull ones.
I'm
Wow.
still thinking about the Robo School from RoboFest.
Well, you know,
Still thinking about it.
it's going on this weekend, so make sure you're getting over to Augusta. You still got all day Saturday and all day Sunday to actually get over there and pick up some items. That all the stuff you see on Deadly's bed in his hotel room can be yours too if you go through the convention to spend it. So they've got a bunch of great people, and also a reminder that our buddy Chris from Grindhouse Toys has his Kickstarter up, and that's going. But you can actually stop by his booth at Joefest and just see what the creative minds behind that Kickstarter is. A lot of great stuff over there. I even saw Ace from Ramen Toys. He had his must set, super must set.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I don't know if you can put
It's a
that in
beast.
the house. Like, my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's nuts.
ridiculous. It's
A lot of great
ridiculous.
stuff from that show, man. Looking forward to. I'm hurt that we can't go this year, but there's always a next year.
Well, fun show. If you came in late, again, we had Deadly Dioramas and Marcella from URU Toys. So they talked about lots of things that were happening at Joefest. So catch the replay, as Mr. Storm said. It's always fun hanging out with everyone. We appreciate everyone popping in the chat. Again, first time or your 100th time, please like, subscribe, share the message, spread the love, spread the word. We appreciate you all coming in and hanging out. We are Pixels Plastic Inc. every Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Pop culture, toys, collectibles, comic books, movie and film, mostly centered around the sci-fi and comic book universe. So we go live. We've got special guest interviews, etc. And then on the same channel, Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. Pacific time, is the Toy Box Chronicles. Really more centric towards toys, collectibles, same thing, interviews, special guests. And for all you G.I. Joe heads, that is the show to tune in. Before we adjourn, I know last Toy Box Chronicles, it was G.I. Joe Week 3.
Yep.
We are approaching a HasLab reveal.
Oh yes.
Right, that's got to be
Yes.
next week. So lots of rumors speculating. So stay tuned. Tune in to Toy Box Chronicles, because pretty soon, imminently, we are definitely going to get some more probably big announcements in the Joe world. But gentlemen, any last thoughts before we wrap things up on a fine Friday night?
No, but I am looking forward to see what the Joe team is going to release. So Wednesday is going to be a big show, because if they don't put that HasLab up, those Joe form groups are going to be on fire. So they're going to have to. They got the end of the month on a high note, so they better be something. They better shock us.
Yeah, the only thing that's weird that's coming up is on the 24th at 11 p.m. Eastern time. There's a new Transformers stream happening on Hasbro Pulse.
Yeah.
So pay attention to that because that's something that's weird that they've announced that, but they haven't announced any Joe things yet. So
Yeah, Hidden HasLab. It's the big reveal, the crowd-funded campaign of typically a larger vehicle or play set, and so GI Joe's should be announcing one. That's what we're talking about. I to Conquest. I know like the big rumors, and again, stay tuned Wednesdays. Tune in, subscribe. Is the Snowcat is like the most popular of the
Yes.
rumors. But I would love to see a Sky Striker at that scale. I don't think
Well,
they'd do it, but
we've seen one, and it was a 3D printed version, and
I
it looked
know,
awesome
I know that's
at the SoCal Joe show.
that would be amazing. But I think more, like unless things change,
Yeah,
it's
well,
more than likely a Snowcat, which is cool. But you know, I would love to see. I like more aerial. I like planes and copters. You know, so cool. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you next week here on PPI.